On this episode, we talk about taking insurance as a marketing strategy and the recent changes to Google Local. Hey everybody, what's up and welcome to the 88 Dental Marketing Show. This is the internet's only dental show that's answering marketing's most important questions. It's only the most important questions. That's what we're doing. I am your host, Joshua Scott. And guys, this is episode number 33. Filming here in the office, live on Periscope as well. What's up to all the Periscope people? Got a good episode for you. Before we get started, a few things. Two brand new articles that are out this month. This is October, and first article is the language of healthcare. The language of healthcare. Really great article. I've been working on this for months and giving some presentations about it. How healthcare sometimes just seems to speak another language other than human, and how as a dental practice we can avoid that and really not speak that way, but do some things intentionally to make sure that we are connecting as human beings with our patient. So that article is up. The link is down below in the show notes. And then also, is college football moving to Monday night? It's a fun little article I wrote just about, really it's about college football and the NFL, but mostly about broadcast television in general and the attention of the country, what's happening there. The fine people over at Bench Nation picked up that article and published it last week as well. So again, those links will be down below in the show notes. And other than that, man, a lot going on. Just flew back from Chicago over the weekend, had a presentation to Fortune Management. I was up there spending the weekend with them with their Platinum Circle group, which was a lot of fun, ton of fun to be there. Yeah, man, I mean, just articles going on, Dental Town podcast, that's it. If you missed the podcast, I'm going to put that link down below, but catch that. Howard Fran and I just chatting about marketing via Skype. That was a good time, fun interview with him. He's got a lot of energy. He's a great guy. And that's it, man. Our sponsor for this show is Treatment Tree Software. These guys do case acceptance tracking. And so Kelly, the owner, you can reach out to her, tell her that you saw her on the 88 Dental Marketing Show, and she'll take good care of you. But this tracking software is amazing for case acceptance. So I think if you're into that, I think you ought to track it. Case acceptance is one of those huge pillars, like foundational pillars of a dental practice. And I think you ought to check this out. Run a little demo, put your numbers in, take a look. I think you'll find a ton of value in this software. So check them out. And with that, I think I'm done. No, let's get to some questions.
The first question is from Dr. Don. I don't do much marketing because I take a lot of insurances. I look at the write-off as my marketing budget.
Dr. Don, thanks for the question. Actually, not so much of a question as it is a statement, but that's fine. Statement number one of the day. This is a massively interesting statement because, I hear this conversation a lot, and I think it's a legit strategy. And so as we're thinking about this, like insurance versus marketing, and can that insurance write-off replace a marketing budget or a marketing strategy? And so I think there's really three ways we look at this. Number one is, this is a legit strategy. You sign up with a bunch of insurance companies. They take up to like 30% off. I mean, you're writing off 30% of your fees to participate with those insurances. And so you don't do any marketing, because that's the trade-off. Is all the insurance companies will market for me. I'm giving them up to 30% to market for me. So I don't, in a sense, like I don't even have the money to market because I just spent that in the write-offs. So that's number one, writing off 30%. Number two is you don't take any insurances and instead you market. And so much of this comes back to your style, your model of practice, knowing your model, your demographic, the patient base who you're trying to reach, philosophy, values, all of this, right? But this is another legit strategy, is not participating in insurances. And instead of losing the 30%, I just lost Periscope again. I swear that by the next time I do this, I'm going to buy another one of these suction cup holders. So instead of giving 30% to the insurance companies, you spend that yourself on marketing. So now there's a ton of benefits here. Number one, you have more control over the message. You don't have to spend 30%, but honestly, you probably need to spend a higher percentage. We typically talk about 3 to 4% of revenue being spent on marketing. In this case, it's probably 5, 6, 7% of revenue on marketing because you're not participating with any plans. And so you need to get that message out. Your patient base is being narrowed because anybody who doesn't, anybody who participates with those insurance plans are probably not going to come to see you. You're trying to reach more of a fee for service patient base. And so you're casting a wide net trying to get those patients in the door. And so that just takes more money. That takes a higher percentage. But in the end, you're not discounting to insurance. You're not writing that off. You're controlling your message. You're building a strong brand in the community. You're building name recognition and ideally becoming the go-to practice in the community. So number one, take insurance, don't market. Number two, don't take insurance, use all that money, use part of that money for marketing. But honestly, number three is really a hybrid of both of those. It's taking some plans that work for you, but then also having a marketing budget to go along with it. And honestly, 95% of practices I run into are in that category. Because here's the thing, Dr. Don, last part I'll say here. At the end of the day, when it comes back to the data I've looked at and what I know about dental practices, on the whole, participating in insurances doesn't bring patient phone calls to the practice, but it does convert phone calls into new patients. So let me say that again. On the whole, just because you sign up for plans doesn't mean you're going to get more calls coming into the office of new patients wanting to come in. But it does mean that when you're on the phone with a patient that participates with that plan, you're going to convert them. They're going to show up for an appointment because you take that plan. So I hope that helps. I think it's a legit strategy. I think number one, overall, you need to know your model, know who you're trying to reach, know your philosophy, your direction, and go after it.
Question number 2 is from Erica Beals. I noticed Google's making big changes to its local pack. If local search is becoming so important, why are they limiting the listings?
Erica, good job noticing this. This is a really, really great question and super sharp for paying attention to this and picking up on it. But yeah, somewhere around August, I want to say towards the end of August, Google switched their local pack. And we used to refer to it as the 7-pack. And all of a sudden it shrunk down to 3. And so for those of you listening and watching, the local pack, when you search something on Google, you typically, the first 2 to 3 listings are ads. And they have a little yellow box next to them that says ad. Beyond that, you get the local listings. There's a little map, and then there used to be 7 dental practices listed. Now there's 3. And then beneath that begins all the organic listings. So it went from 7 to 3. And a lot of people were like, I remember when this first happened, I was actually in a dental practice. And I'm like, yeah, here, let me show you your SEO results. And you were showing up on Google Local. And I get there and they're not because it went from 7 to 3. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, this all just changed, which is the best way to find out about stuff like that is just live in a meeting, in a consultation with a client, and it makes you look super smart for sure. But yeah, so that's what happened. And a lot of people are trying to figure it out, and they're like, what's up, with this, and what's Google doing? The consensus across the board is this is a move before they start to, I caught you. This is a move before they start to implement paid listings, paid local listings. And so that's what people think is going on here. Just like Google used to be organic search and they brought in paid ads, they've got local search, and now they're getting ready to bring in paid local ads. So they think that's what's going on. So a lot of people, you may not have noticed this, but if you're a dental practice, your new patient numbers could have went down a little bit the last few months, and you may not even have known why, but you could go back. If you were like number 4 or 5 on Google's local pack, you were on the front page a few months ago, and now you're not because it's the top 3. So at the end of the day, there's still some great things we can do when it comes to local strategy. And regardless of whether there's 3 or 7 or 9 or they're paid or not paid, we need to be paying attention to Google Local. And there's 4 components that make up Google Local. And so the first one, and probably the biggest, is reviews. I'm not going to go as far to say that the person who has the most reviews gets ranked the highest, but man, reviews have a huge impact. And a lot of times what happens is the more reviews you have, the more people click, which gives you more credibility on Google, which ranks you higher. So it's this like cycle that continues to go on. And so that's a huge one. Citations are a big part of that. So the Google Plus puzzle here, you've got reviews, you've got all your citations all across the internet. These are all the addresses, the listings, your name, address, phone number, all across the World Wide Web. And you'd be surprised how many inconsistent listings, duplicate listings are out there. And when that happens, see, Google is trying to, if somebody searches something, they want to give them a result that they have 100% confidence in. And so if you have multiple phone numbers or addresses out there, or different business names for your practice, like one is your personal name and there could be variations of that, then Google's not sure. They're like, I want to give them this listing, but there's this level of inconsistencies out there, and so we're just not 100% positive. So that's why citations are a big deal. Your Google Plus page, having that set up, populating that with images, updated logo, posting to that. Google loves it when you give their stuff attention. And then last, just your website. That's the hub of your digital presence. Google knows that. They want to tie your website to that. They're going to analyze traffic. They're just, all these things start to integrate. And so this is a amazing Google Plus strategy that you need to be thinking about. Reviews, citation, your Google Plus page, your web presence. And if you do this, that equals amazing local presence. So those are the tips there for your Google Plus, your Google Local listing that can get you ranked up there even if you fell off. So Erica, again, phenomenal question. Thank you so much. Guys, that wraps up this episode. 2 questions, but 2 really good ones. Before I leave you, kind of your homework for the show, question of the show is, where do you rank on Google Local? Where do you rank, and what can you do here to increase that ranking? So that's your homework. Take it, run with it. I think you'll see some changes right away that'll affect that. So guys, I appreciate you hanging around. This was episode number 33. I'll see you on the next episode.